Hey guys, it's Carson here. Welcome back to the channel. Today I'm going to give you my offensive free agent predictions. So without further ado, let's get right into this video. Starting off with the quarterback position, I think Ryan Fitzpatrick should and then will go to the New York Jets. And I think this because the Jets are going to need a veteran to help out their rookie quarterback that they should get in the draft. Or if they really want to keep Sam Darnold, I don't think they should. Or if they do want to keep Sam Darnold, they can. But Ryan Fitzpatrick will be a great mentor for anyone who does come to New York as that rookie quarterback. Now that we've talked about Ryan Fitzpatrick, let's go into Jameis Winston. And I think Jameis Winston, in my opinion, is probably going to do well this year if he is a starter. He was in Bruce Arians' system when he threw 30 interceptions, which is really not good for him. It was about the worst situation he could have been in. 30 interceptions isn't good, but if he wasn't in Bruce Arians' system, I guarantee he would have thrown about 15 interceptions, which is about half of what he threw, which is quite crazy, but it's just Bruce Arians' system is so complicated. But I think Jameis Winston will be a great player, and I do think he will sign with the Saints, even though Taysom Hill got a big signing, because Taysom Hill's signing is basically just a joke. So that's why I think Jameis Winston will sign back with the Saints. And now on to Mitchell Trubisky. I think he'll sign with the football team. They need a quarterback, and I think he can do decent there just because of the fact that Ron Rivera is the head coach. I do like Mitchell Trubisky in terms of his potential. He hasn't played well. He hasn't played up to number 2 overall. On to the running back position. I do think Jamal Williams will sign with the Seahawks. I don't think Carson's going to get re-signed by the Seahawks due to their cap situation. And Jamal Williams ain't getting signed back by the Packers because they don't have enough cap, and they just re-signed Aaron Jones, which is quite amazing in my opinion. Probably won't make a full video about it since I just talked about it now. But I do think that was a great signing and re-signing for the Green Bay Packers. But now Jamal Williams is most definitely gone. And with the Seahawks losing Chris Carson, Jamal Williams is a cheaper option over Chris Carson. I do like Jamal Williams a lot.
NFL draft.
Very underrated. Mitchell Trubisky, in my opinion,
terrible.
I really think he can be great
bad
in Seattle or really anywhere he goes.
It's not that great.
Because he's
So
a
I
great
really
weapon.
don't think he'll
And
sign
I
back
think
with the
maybe
Rams.
he
Especially
could
since they
maximize
signed
his
his
potential in
option.
New England. But
Well, I do
he
think
probably won't
Trubisky
sign
would
with
fit
New
pretty
England.
decent.
I mean, who knows?
in the
New
football
England's
team
crazy
system.
due to the fact
Crazy.
that Ron Everett. Probably
He's
make
the
a video
head
about
coach.
that if I do have time. I do think he'll be a great player for the Seahawks. But now going on to Chris Carson, who is just removed from the Seahawks roster, in my opinion. I think he'll sign with the Dolphins, who need a running back so desperately, sort of like the Jets and Falcons. They need a running back. I mean, their running game was horrible last year. Matt Breida isn't it. Myles Gaskin isn't it. Jordan Howard isn't it. Those guys can't be your starting running back. They aren't bad running backs, but they are not starting level running backs, in my opinion. Or at the very least, number like 30, 31, 32. They aren't very good running backs, especially for starters. You can't have them starting, and that's why I think the Dolphins should sign Chris Carson. And now on to the Falcons signing Merlin Mack. He missed all year due to injury, and Jonathan Taylor's taking the starting job. There's no chance the Colts re-sign him, in my opinion. No reason to waste money on a backup running back. Merlin Mack is still a great player, but Jonathan Taylor is going to come in and he's going to play well. And I think Marlon Mack would be great with... Now that we have finished with the top 3 running backs, I'm going to go into the top 3 wide receivers still left in free agency, starting with Kenny Gallaudet. And I do think he'll sign with the Jacksonville Jaguars. Jaguars have tons of money, and they need to help their man Trevor Lawrence out, unless they don't draft Trevor Lawrence, which would be really dumb, unless they traded for a guy like Deshaun Watson or Russell Wilson. Don't think that'll happen, but if it does, then good for them. But I just don't see the Jags not signing a wide receiver, and he's the best wide receiver available, and he would really help whoever the quarterback is, assuming it's Trevor Lawrence, most likely Trevor Lawrence. He'd be a great help for Trevor Lawrence. I think he'll be a great player in Jacksonville. And now on to Curtis Samuel, who I do think will be signing with the San Francisco 49ers. I took him over Juju Smith-Schuster and put him on this list because Juju, in my opinion, is overrated. He's not a bad receiver, but I just don't think he deserves to be on this list. And Curtis Samuel, it makes not a ton of sense if you don't think about it going to the Niners, since they do have quite a few wide receivers, but I do think he will be a 49er, and it would make sense if I just let you explain to this that Deebo Samuel and Curtis Samuel are basically the same player, but Curtis Samuel, in my opinion, is a little bit better. And he's a Kyle Shanahan type player. Kyle Shanahan would love Curtis Samuel. And now you have two guys that can run and catch the ball, which would confuse defenses so much. It'd be a great player for the San Francisco 49ers team. So I think Curtis Samuel should sign, and I think Kyle Shanahan could and should pull the trigger on Curtis Samuel. And now on to the last receiver on this list. We do have Will Fuller. Will Fuller the fifth. He's a good player. If he doesn't get suspended again, he'll be a great player. He showed that he can be a number one wide receiver, but he's a lower end number one wide receiver. And now this doesn't make a whole ton of sense now, but if you want a true number one wide receiver, the Patriots should go and grab him, which is what I said they would do. They just signed Nelson Aguilar and Kendrick Bourne, which both aren't true number one wide receivers. They're sort of paying Nelson Aguilar $13 million a year, which is a little concerning. So I do think they won't be able to afford Will Fuller, but if they do, I do think it makes sense. And I do think the Patriots would like Will Fuller. He's a good player. He could help Camden out. Now he has tons of help. And I do think this would make a whole lot of sense for the New England Patriots. Now we're talking about these tight ends, the top three tight ends, I think, that are still in free agency. Didn't have Rob Gronkowski. I believe he would get The signed by Falcons, Buccaneers,
due to the fact that Todd Gurley isn't good.
And he'll be the starting running back
number
there.
one,
He
Hunter
can help
Henry.
Matt Ryan
The
out.
Bengals need
sort of
a tight
relieve
end.
some of his pressure
Instead
since
of
that Falcons run game was
Kyle
dreadful,
Pitts, I think
just like
Hunter
the
Henry's a
Miami
better option
Dolphins.
because he's still young. He's a great player in my opinion. I think he would be great for the Cincinnati Bengals. They are lacking in the tight end position, so Hunter Henry will make a lot of sense for the Bengals.
And then on to Gerald Everett, who, according to some players, are underrated, but I do think he's a good player. Don't think he's underrated. He is underrated. According to some, in my opinion, he's a great player. I think the football team could use a tight end because Douglas Thomas is so old. So I do think the Washington football team will sign Gerald Everett. The last player I'm going to talk about on this list is Kyle Rudolph. And I think he will go to the Jacksonville Jaguars. Once again, like I brought up with Kenny Gallaudet, I think he would really help out Trevor Lawrence. And Kyle Rudolph isn't bad. He was really misunderused by the Vikings. They never can use their tight ends right. Kyle Rudolph could have been so much better. He makes those late-game crazy catches with all those crazy late-game heroics, but he doesn't really get used very much. Otherwise, he doesn't get used very well. I think he would be pretty good for the Jaguars for a few years before he does retire, since he is in his 30s. And retirement is probably the next 2, 3, maybe 4 years if the Jacksonville Jaguars are lucky. Now, to end this video, I'm going to review all the signings that I did make in this video, starting off with the Jets signing Ryan Fitzpatrick, then the Saints re-signing Jameis Winston, the Washington football team signing Mitchell Trubisky and Gerald Everett, as the Dolphins signed Chris Carson to be their starting running back. On to the Seahawks. I think they will replace Chris Carson with Jamal Williams, as the Falcons will sign Merlin Mack to be their starting running back, as Will Fuller will become the number one wide receiver in New England, as Curtis Samuel becomes another great player that Kyle Shanahan develops into a sort of Deebo Samuel type player, as the Bengals sign Hunter Henry to fill up their wide open tight end spot and help assist Joe Burrow. And then, finally, the Jacksonville Jaguars will sign Kyle Rudolph and Kenny Gallaudet to help Trevor Lawrence in his rookie year and help
Trevor Lawrence have one of the best rookie years of all time. Thank you guys for watching this video. And let's get a like goal. 7, 8 likes. Let's do it. Thanks for watching, and I'll see you guys in the next one. Bye.